On September 27th, Hurricane Helene tore through the East Coast, leaving devastation in its wake. But while the world moved on, the people here were left behind. Homes were destroyed, families displaced, and entire communities shattered. Yet the response was silence.
I'm here to tell every single survivor in these impacted areas that we will be there with you as long as it takes. Urge everyone returning to their communities and home to listen to the local officials and follow all safety instructions.
The government's promise of aid never came, and those who suffered the most were forced to rebuild with nothing. This is their story. The story of the storm that hit, the help that never came, and the voices that refused to be ignored.
It's a race against time for many people in western North Carolina. Some are running out of food and water.
You've seen buildings that have collapsed, roads buckled, cars stuck in thick mud.
We're getting a closer look at the damage left behind from Hurricane Helene in some of these western North Carolina mountain towns. Right now we're in Swannanoa, and I want to show you some of the power behind these floodwaters, completely washing out windows, parts of this building.
Do a better job than has been done by the White House. It's been not good. Not good.
Her 750, him said, all these people around me ought to be getting a lot more than $750.
We've got to change the culture of FEMA. There's too much government bureaucracy and not nearly enough caring about the folks that they should be tasked to help.
We went out with the county as early as last week to look at the tents, to visit the people who have been identified in tents, and we're not seeing that those individuals do not have access to FEMA assistance or the county assistance.
September the 27th, and here it is November the 4th, and we still not received no help from no FEMA.
I was referring specifically to the individuals in the tents.
That's what I'm referring to. They're
Okay.
still out there.
Okay. If you know of them, please let me know, because I can't tell
Just
you.
open your eyes.
Okay. Okay. No, absolutely. And
Say that again. How many people do you think are estimated?
Say 2,000 or 3,000.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. We don't know.
Say they hope officials can improve their response and take down the red tape as they continue to help the area through the recovery process.
James and I are from Michigan, and we had no clue about what had been going on in western North Carolina. Eric called us and talked about how many people were dying and the fact that they were lying about it. The news wasn't covering it right, and he was trying to expose it on his podcast, and it just didn't. Nobody was really listening. Eric was out there for like 2 weeks, probably, maybe 2 to 3, and he had been working with rescue and recovery teams. Everything that he said, I thought he was being a little exaggerated, as he can tend to be, but if anything, he was under exaggerating because you can't really explain it. James and I looked at the stuff that he was sending us and we were like, okay, let's go out there. And we basically decided that we're just gonna go and film it. We're gonna raise money, and all of the money that's raised is only gonna be used on the people in western North Carolina. So we raised money and went and gave it all away. We ended up going to like this washout area over a bridge, and right past that bridge were a bunch of torn down homes, but there were still a couple standing up there, and we just decided to walk up to their houses and start asking like, hey, can you tell us your story on camera, and can we help you? And that's where we met Emily, who is a mom who was pregnant. She was 8 months pregnant when the storm hit. And she was left stranded in her home, floating on a bed in freezing water for 12 hours. It was the beginning of us realizing the lies and the lack of coverage about what was really going on.
I mean, I just know that there's need down here. Like I said, I don't know what we're getting into. I don't know what we're walking into. I don't know what to believe. I only believe the people that are down there and are seeing it. I don't believe the media because they're not talking about any of this stuff. Nothing. I don't know anything. So we'll find out.
No.
Sounded like it was getting kicked in, and it was almost like a scary movie. Just seeing it, water coming up the vents, and it's just like within 2 minutes it was neck deep inside the house. And I've just never seen something happen that fast and happen like that. And the bed started floating, so me and the dog kind of tried to get on top of the bed and float on the, I mean, that's all we could do, because I was debating, do you jump out the window so you don't drown in your own house? But you look out and the water's, 10, 12 foot deep all around me in the back. And then in the front is where the currents are coming in, so it's too strong. So you just literally couldn't get out. Luckily, there was a few guys that could make it somewhat up the road, and they helped walk up to me and help get me out. I guess it was like this deep, chest deep, for probably 3 or 4 hours. So I tried to open the window in my daughter's room. But with me being pregnant and you're watching cars and trailers and buildings like float past, literally, I mean, that just wasn't an option. I tried to keep bringing a couch cushion to kind of hold in front of my stuff so nothing like would hit me. Because there's big logs and 2x4s coming in the front door, coming in the kitchen door. I mean, it was crazy. And then even when I got out, doctor's offices, my OBGYN, of course, none of that's open. And so it was hard to get seen. It took 3.5 weeks to get an ultrasound.
3.5 weeks?
Just to get an ultrasound of the baby.
After you were cold and freezing?
Some of us were like in Katrina. And then when the 2016 flood came, a bunch of guys with boats went out and just called ourselves the Cajun Navy 2016. And we're a rescue group. We do high water rescue. We started off high water rescue, and now we do it all. We go before the storm, after the storm, during the storm. We do like food at the beginning, then we do supplies in the middle, and then we do rebuild at the end. People had no warning. By the time they got the warning, it was too late. And the water just, for these creeks to be 20 feet wide and end up half a mile on each side of the creek, it was devastating. Raging water coming down 50 to 75 miles an hour, taking out everything in its path. I got here and I seen, I went to Asheville and I seen the Shenandoah River, and it was way out our league. We wouldn't even attempt to put our boats in there. That was nothing but a helicopter rescue. We're swift water trained, but we would not get in that because it would drown us. No matter how good of a swimmer you are, it's not capable of swimming in, because you have so much debris, you have so many houses, trailers, trucks, everything coming down the creeks, and it's taking out everything in its path. But at the start, all I seen was personal. People coming out in their own helicopters and using their own fuel and in their own time. It's just such a amazing to see disasters that so many people come together as one. When I get in a parking lot and I say pray, it's all different nationalities, different colors. I do not see no racism during a disaster. That's what we need to be all the time. Why does it take a disaster? Why can't we be like this all the time? After this disaster's over, you won't see none of this until another disaster. And I know God gets upset, but we need to be together. We need to come together as one to save our country. Our country's going downhill, and only the people can save it.
We left there, and Eric ends up taking us, I felt like it was a wild goose chase. And we had a binder made up. We had an itinerary. We're a camera crew, we're a filming crew, we're a production company. We know what we're doing. I'm a contractor. I do things by the book. I have rules. And I'm following Eric through the mountains, and I'm calling him like, dude, where are you going? He's like, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going. He's basically, if you talk to Eric, Eric's following God. Eric's going wherever Eric wants to go or wherever the Spirit leads him, and I'm behind him freaking out. That brings us to Swannanoa Independent Missionary Baptist Church parking lot. The first person I walk up to is this guy, we'll call him Jeff, smoking a cigarette. He had this pissed off look in his face. Stopped me and I introduced myself and I said, hey, we're here, we're making a documentary, and he didn't look like he was interested. This guy jumped in his pickup truck, brought everything he had the moment the storm hit, and was giving everything. I mean, not just something, everything. He left his whole life. Even to the point where I think that Jeff was ready to lose his life. When I met Earl and I met the other people there, they were giving away clothes. They were giving everything that they could. And they had been in this weeks upon weeks. I think they were over a month into it. They were trying to take care of people, and that's what we walked into. And I quickly realized that it didn't matter where we go. It didn't matter where we went. Wherever we were needed.
It's like a war zone, and I don't talk about it a lot. It's like Vietnam in a way, in places. It's like the government was putting on a show that they didn't really care for the people.
One man, he had to hold his invalid data for 7.5 hours in chest-deep water, to keep him afloat till they were rescued out of their home. So, there are people that come in here with stories that break, it'll break your heart.
People has come with a good heart. It's brought the good Americans together.
Yeah.
And there's good Americans out here. Don't get me wrong, they are. I don't care where you're from. There's good Americans still left in this country.
Yes. I drove every day when I was trying to come to this man's house, and come for 4 days. I didn't realize till the divers started actually coming up to the river, and they found a woman in a van with 4 children.
With 4 children, right down here on this highway.
I was driving by them every day.
But you won't hear that on the news, and we ask why. Why don't they? People has a right to know. Even the people here.
They deserve.
Why don't they tell everything? Oh well, if we told that, said people would get paranoid because they found a woman and 4 kids underneath a bridge dead.
And I mean, they were just right there, right
right
across from Ingalls Warehouse. That bridge right there. That's where they were.
Two of our officials flew over this and flew over all that in their helicopters. And there was one official that running for our president. I'm not running for our president. Is the only one that landed and got out and got his feet muddy down here at Swannanoa to look at the devastation.
What do the states in the storm zone need, Mr. President?
Sorry?
What do the states in the storm zone, what do they need after what you saw today?
Oh, in the storm zone?
Yes, sir.
I'm wondering what storm you're talking about. They're getting everything they need. And they're very happy across the board.
So Hurricane Helene was one of the worst natural disasters in American history. It was far worse than it was even billed. I have never seen such water damage. It was largely water damage, wind damage, but water damage nobody's ever seen it.
And I haven't even took time to go over there and do anything to my place because my place don't matter. There's a need here. There's a need around the community, and I'm going to continue doing it because I'm doing God's work. That's all I want to do.
But you've got to pull together to make this country succeed and to make things succeed in this country. It takes us all. It don't take just a few, it takes us all.
So far, that's what our community has done, and all these hardworking people that's took time out of their lives to come help us. They put their boots on the ground. They didn't talk about things. They actually did something.
911, what's your emergency?
Okay, I'm in the middle of a flood. It's up to my trailer, and please send somebody to come get me.
Honey, where are you at? We have got multiple people from multiple counties everywhere. I promise they're in the way.
Yeah, because oh my God.
I'm sorry, we're trying our best, baby, okay? 911, where's your emergency?
Our house, there's houses like split in half. There's people hollering.
Okay, is this a house or is it a trailer?
It's a trailer. Like everybody's trailer is floating away, and cars, and everybody's hollering. We've got a little girl and a woman trapped in a trailer and up here in Denton, and the trailer behind them just broke loose. And we're trying to get to them, but the water's so swift. If it hits our trailer, they're gone.
Okay, give me the, honey, I've got them up in there. We're trying, what is the address of that, where you're at?
I don't even know, and it's literally a trailer just broke off behind it. If it hits theirs, they're gone.
Okay, we're trying, honey. They're trying to get up there. It's just, it's a mess. We're trying.
We're trying to get over to them,
you be careful, okay? Yeah, you don't put yourself in jeopardy, okay?
But we can't let them drown.
This is the final day of the doc edit, and I just wanted to provide some context for this scene that's happening right now. In Swannanoa, we went to an area that had been washed out, a farm. We were just looking around, seeing if we could get some footage of the river, the creek that was running through there, just somewhere that Eric had taken us, and Eric started smelling something.
Yeah, I mean, it's all deposit. I bet you there's bodies under sand.
And I didn't film the whole thing. I set my camera down on a bag and I just kind of pressed record, but I ended up turning it off.
Foul water.
Oh, there's a kid's shoe.
Yeah, there's a body.
What's left of it probably.
People that don't understand what happened out there don't care. But there are people that have said they witnessed whole families dying. Some people that had 12 people in the home. And there are hundreds of these people, if not thousands. Where are the bodies? Where are the body bags? The bodies were shredded in a meat grinder. When that water came down the mountain, there's nothing left of a body. And a lot of times, when they were trying to rescue people, they weren't actually rescuing people. They were recovering pieces. And that's what we came upon in the field, are pieces of people, which we were sure some of it was a child. I was over on the other end of that field, rummaging through a house that had diapers and toys and babies' toys and a nursery. And when I walked to the other side of the field, I saw the same diapers, the same toys, and I'm assuming it was the same child. So when you watch this video and you're asking yourself, did this really happen? I'm telling you, it really happened. And if you're asking where are the bodies, they're buried under 20 feet of sand and rubble.
There's something right there. What you got? Something's up for sure.
Yeah.
Mitch. Oh, boy, yeah, you just don't care. I just got a huge.
Yeah, it's right here.
All right. Yep.
So you want to keep
it's
going?
100%. It's 100% of body. Keep going.
I mean, yeah, if it's a baby, we could just be repeatedly missing it.
Right?
It's so tiny.
Let's do a grid search on it.
Immediately after this scene, Eric calls a number he had stored in his phone to report dead bodies. And when we get the lady on the phone, she says, "We're not taking any more phone calls. We're not looking for them anymore." That was disturbing. Then we head over to where the sheriff is, where the car's caught in the creek. And when Elijah, Mitch, and Victoria walked away, Eric, Jeff, and I heard the sheriff say, "Guys, can you please just stop? We can't get the car out. We've already tried. And there's pieces of bodies down there, lots of them, and we don't want to stir them up." And he just begged us to stop. Then you're going to see Eric tell him where we found our body. And the guy was nice enough to actually send people over there where more bodies were recovered.
So there's like a broken tractor out there. If you go to the peak of the woods where that draw comes to a point, you'll see all our water bottles sitting in the hole. And you'll smell it as soon as you walk up on it.
I'll let them know.
It's really gross.
That stuck with us. That stuck with us. And I still think about it.
we are just starting the smoker up so we can cook ourselves some brats and steaks and baked beans and hot dogs and potatoes. Chocolate cake for some reason, because Eric wanted chocolate cake. Figured I just cook up a snack real quick, you know. Jim's a little hangry, we're all a little hangry. Bang. Wieners, brats. That pan is gonna be perfect to sear those steaks out though.
I got no excuse not to help people who need it. So I can't just chill at my place where life is good and while this is going on, can't have any peace. I'll never sleep. You know, requests for help trickle in. They let me know if it could be cutting up trees out of somebody's driveway so they can get in and out of their house. I replaced a water heater at some place and found out that day that I can replace a water heater. But pulling vehicles in the river, that's a nightmare. And I'm just in the zone working. I shouldn't have noticed this tricep. Like, it was buried up to the handlebars. I shouldn't have even noticed. I was just in the zone working. But for whatever reason, I noticed. I don't know. I felt like, I know it sounds crazy, I felt like it called out to me. Like it found me. It took two of us to pull it out of the dirt. And, you know, you get an image in your head. Where's the 3-year-old that was riding that? And how many people are still under me right now?
We went over to this bridge where there was a little camp across from a neighborhood that had been destroyed. Absolutely obliterated in Swannanoa. And the camp was full of the survivors from that little neighborhood. And we spoke with one of the workers who was there cleaning up debris. He talked about this guy who had completely lost his mind across the street. We were asking for interviews of people that he might know, and this guy had just lost so much that he was completely disconnected. It was, not only was there physical destruction, but there was spiritual warfare going on, and this was evidence of that. We also talked with people in downtown Asheville, and it was almost as if, sure, they didn't have power, running water for a couple of days, but then you look at this guy who lost his brother, his sanity, arguably parts of his soul, and I just can't help but wonder why people right next to all of this devastation seem to have almost no clue what's going on.
Can I put this on your jacket?
Sure.
Alright, so is your family here?
Is my family here? Nah, they ain't here right now. I got my brother, he came with me. But down here it flooded like a motherfucker, and it shows in parts. Down through here, wallow and different shit, but you look in certain places, you can see where spirits have been taken.
Pretty heavy to be here?
Heavy. It's pretty fucked up. They're dealing with a lot of loss.
Did you lose friends and family?
I lost a good friend of mine, my brother down here. Yeah, I ain't taking no more questions.
Okay, that's fine. So you don't have to. Can I get the microphone back?
Nah, I'm taking that.
Joining us right now on the phone is Esther Mannheimer. She is the mayor of Asheville, North Carolina.
And I will say that the pictures don't fully capture the catastrophic damage that we've experienced here in Asheville. It's unprecedented. It's exceeded any historic storm on record.
Word about time to come out. What you say to Satan, all right, dash you down. Hail a storm with wood in the early morning, so don't say, feeling bye-bye land. I got to be running off. All this thing, waiting for me out. I listen and the way I learn. Wolf don't howl at no fool.
I remember waking up the next day and it was like really calm Friday morning, and then things kind of went to shit Friday afternoon. But that like period of calm felt eerie. And when I finally went back to my place, thankfully we had electric. I was really consumed with worry that the big tree in our backyard would have fallen upon the house. As I'm blowing up, I had like a lot of panic about that.
So anyway, we stayed for a few days, but without water, without power. We left and went to Florida to see my brother. And then, sure enough, Hurricane Milton came. My daughter she was in a forest. A tornado virtually came in and wiped out 1,000 trees. There were probably less than 100 left.
Yeah, I think it was just really an intense few days. I remember in my body feeling like intense survival mode, not knowing where the next food or water would come from. I think I had maybe like 200 calories and, went without a crucial medication for a couple of weeks. That was really, really hard, and eventually found access to that.
It's been a tough time, and we have some trailers down in Marshall, and one of them has been just demolished by the flood. So, I've been volunteering at various places, just trying to do my part, and gosh, it's just such a shame.
Yeah, I'm just really glad that it wasn't worse for me and the people that I love, and it's been devastating.
I think we need investment back to the artists.
Our experiences with FEMA have been very positive. They've been and with the state. I think people are really trying to bend over backwards to help. I think it's been wonderful the way, like I volunteered on Monday, I guess it was Monday in Marshall, and just the banding together of people, it was just wonderful. So to the extent that people get together and help each other, I think that's great.
I think the artists here are the most heavily impacted, and it's just now slowly reopening. And I think reinvesting in the infrastructure that allows artists to thrive, and putting money back in the hands of people that don't make as much in this city, and stop giving as much space to people who are already well off.
I've been trying to help the community, and then the community's really been coming together. Yeah. And helping each other, and people from all over the state, other states are coming in and helping each other. I've never seen anything like it. It wasn't like that in Baton Rouge. This is amazing. Communities coming together here, how awesome it is.
Do you guys know how many people have died? Like, is that a number, like, are there numbers floating around?
It's like thousands.
Thousands?
They're only saying hundreds. There's definitely over 1,000. I know that for facts. I mean, nobody knew until Trump brought his helicopter here and landed it that we actually had a flood. And then there was something on the news, I think. There wasn't much about it. I feel like downtown should be opening up their stores with each artist that lost something down in our district. They should be putting a booth up in front of every single store, supporting all those artists that are down there. Asheville, to me, is nothing's happening. It's just normal right here in downtown. I drove through it earlier. I'm like, it's just a day in Asheville. Why aren't I guess the artists lost some stuff, but why aren't they out there with samples or pictures of what they had, asking for donations? All these artists, are the artists actually local? A lot of them, or are they just people from other cities and states putting their stuff in our city, claiming they're part of the arts district? So my question is, where are all the artists? I know one personally lives here, Tarsane, she was affected by this, and the marquee is totally gone pretty much. Like the umbrella is more affected, but that is a huge warehouse of art. Where are the artists? I think good is people are getting closer to the Lord. People are going to church. I started going to Swandown First Baptist. Those people are awesome. Oklahoma Disaster Relief, North Carolina Disaster Relief, Cajun Navy. They're doing Cabins for Christ. You know, I've met people all over. Just being here, I have networked and met so many people. Like, I was alone in my farm and didn't really get out and do much, and now I'm like, I had a ton of friends. So that's one thing, is like, I've just kind of like met people, because you don't want to be alone in a situation like this. You'll be depressed and crying, and you know, the suicide rate may go up. Like, but they're like, people are giving and loving on each other, and it's just amazing. Just you felt it, didn't you?
Footprints in the sand don't lead you nowhere, but halo over high water. Suddenly chasing the sun was good out of a while, it's still got a place for me.
Good job, Earl. Come here, Earl. Earl, come here. Good boy.
He's like, I kind of want to taste that
Earl, Eva. Earl.
Just a quick
Earl.
one.
Okay,
The duck is fighting for its life, dude. Well, he was letting us know that the duck was under
Good
there.
job, Earl. You saved the duck.
Nobody's come back here and checked on us.
Still.
No, I'm serious. Like, no, I felt, it was kind of a panicky feeling. Like, I thought like we were going to be rescued, or someone was going to come down here and check, because I know they were checking on the areas, but we did see drones flying over and copters flying over, but no one landed. It was weird. Like, people were flying over checking out the scene, but no one was landing. And I was thinking they would drop supplies down for us to eat, drink, all that. Because people, not everyone is like us, so we can walk a mile to get out.
Right.
Here's FEMA's number, good luck and Godspeed. So I called FEMA up, and they're like, who's this person? They've already got the benefits. They registered under your household. And I'm like, excuse me? The person was here like 48 hours, and you would give them money without even checking their ID? So FEMA gave him $750 or something, and said, then I tried to get him to flag it. Then they told me, you can't get it. You have to put an appeal in. Then you got to show us proof of your residency. And so I sat in line for 5 hours one day, and then another 3 hours. They still haven't helped. And they said they came over here. I sat here for a week. They said they came by, but no one was there. And I said, well, maybe Google took them to the wrong house. They said they called, never left a message. So I don't even think they even came.
Right.
So I haven't heard from FEMA.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, FEMA who? And then I started looking when I got out on the YouTube and on the news. It was like, oh, there's 40 deaths. I'm like, excuse me? There was like 12 people in 2 families that I know of that they lost the entire family.
Right.
That's just like 2 families. And then I'm like, that's not right. And so then they weren't saying the numbers. Like, we all knew there was like thousands of people. And maybe it's because they didn't come rescue them, they couldn't count them because they couldn't identify them. I feel like I'm going to be hanging out with Swananoa First Baptist and, you know, being there, because that's what I started doing the last couple of weeks. I've just been there on Sunday, listening. It's like a support group. It really is. Everybody's supporting each other and listening and crying and helping. And it's like I have a new family now. Like, in some way, this has brought me closer to the community. Everyone, whereas before I felt like I was just back here. Like, I even had a couple neighbors help me through my cancer journey, helping me with these animals. I hadn't even met my neighbors, and I didn't meet them until this.
We all had come together to speak with this woman who had lost her farm, but we all left with a new friend. When we got together and we had food with her and we broke bread, we found out that Stacy was a believer in Jesus Christ, and it was refreshing for me just to see so many people out there that were actually crying out to God, and Stacy was one of them. We hadn't eaten much. It had been just nonstop since we arrived there. It had been full-blown sadness, and this moment on the trip was probably my highest point. And meeting Stacy was phenomenal, and her heart and her spirit, being a cancer survivor and everything that she's gone through, was just a blessing to us. And I was just thankful that we were able to do anything for her. And so I know that Eric went back, and after this trip, after the documentary, and they had connected, and they were able to bring in tents and solar panels, and Elon Musk donated Starlink. Eric really coordinated a lot of this, and Stacy was a huge asset in having a base camp in an area to do some of this stuff. And I think that when Stacy actually talks about people coming together and the power of unity, of helping one another, I think that this part of the documentary brings it all together to show the spirit of God that was actually in North Carolina, and so many people were working together to save one another.
The next morning after Stacy's, I was just drained. We had to go out to Banner Elk to interview people at a fire department, and I was exhausted, mentally just defeated. All of the things that we saw, and I guess while everybody else was, helping and doing things with people, I was really stuck capturing a lot of it. And I think everything kind of started to hit me right after Stacy's. And going to the Banner Elk Fire Department was exactly what I needed. I needed to listen to stories of perseverance and strength and community. And if there's any community that would exemplify that or be an example of that, it's Banner Elk.
My name is Tyler Burr, and I've been a firefighter for 16, almost 17 years. I am the chief of the fire department. I've been chief here for almost 6 years, so this was just a need and a calling that I stepped up to. I took it on as a young officer and still learning as I go. But yeah, been here a minute.
My grandpa was a fire chief, and one of my uncles was. And I didn't really have any interest in doing fire necessarily, but when I got here, I kind of always looked at this building and I was like, that would be kind of really fun to do, but I'm really scared to go in there. I don't want to do it. And then when I met Peter, he was like, I'm on the fire department. And I was like, oh, okay, this is the end. I can get in now. And so I got him to bring me over here, and I guess that was it. And I've been here ever since, so.
So we were here Wednesday night, was the first night. Bunch of rain. I thought that was the main story, I'm not gonna lie. And then they're like, nope, that's just the beginning. I was like, okay.
I had just gotten off concussion protocol, so I was right a couple days ago, so I was right in the middle of practice, and then we had gotten done with that, and then kind of saw that it was getting ready to come in, and we were just kind of like, wow, like, this is probably going to be a bad one, but again, nobody expected it to be this bad.
Normally, we have, a dispatch center and things like that, and not that we didn't, but there were so many different operations that every department was doing that our dispatch center couldn't handle it. So I was essentially our dispatcher for our fire department.
And we were kind of stuck here because all the roads were kind of like, this was kind of like a island in a big lake. So we couldn't really go anywhere for a while, and we had to just kind of station in place.
Yeah, I think that realization kind of started to come the night before when we were like, all of our main roads were starting to be under like feet of water, and we were like, okay, this is kind of worse than we thought it was going to be. Wake up the next morning, town's dead, no power, no water.
Obviously, during the storm, we were on the go. I think there was about like 10, 15 of us sleeping on the floor in the gym. Most of us are outdoor rec, so we had our little sleeping pads, which was great.
We were in a situation beyond anything we've ever seen. Local means, local resources. From that point, it's sort of when you don't have enough help, you ask for it, and then help shows up. It became apparent very quick that help wasn't coming.
I think when I woke up and saw this whole road gone, and the park behind us, which was like super nice and green, was just water, and it was like a lake. I was kind of just realizing like, oh, we're gonna have to Like, if we need boats, we're gonna have to find them ourselves, and we're gonna have to get things ourselves, and I hope we have enough water here.
I don't even really think that we slept the first few days. It was kind of just go, 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 living off of crackers and candy and just whatever. By that point, your body was just in a fight response. We were putting it together operationally and efficiently as we could, but as far as everyone's individual capacity, it was just 110%.
Like, the best way to describe the fire department is brother and sisterhood. And it's basically what you were, just living with your brothers and sisters here and having a ball.
We had a lady down the road a little ways here who got washed away in her home, jumped out of her home in the river, went another mile or so down the river, and then managed to get out, come back up, find her family on that side of the river. But her and 3 of her family members were stuck over there. It was just picking up tractors and cars and grills, just pulling everything down the river.
But in addition to being pregnant, a big part is that I couldn't go out in the field. I'm a helper, always have been. And so when this whole storm hit, when I couldn't be here in the first couple of days because I had other things that I had to take care of, that was really difficult for me to kind of sit back and listen to, because I had my radio. So I was listening to everything that was going on and just knowing that, like, I couldn't be there and help in the capacity that I wanted to help in. That was really difficult.
I feel like a lot of the people need to know and understand that this town is, like, very mentally shaken as well, because this is an event that doesn't happen very often up here. So just making sure to keep everybody in their hopes and prayers, because it's just a process that everybody has to kind of get through, and it's just like a grieving process. Everybody's just different. So our town just needs some help and prayers.
All these gravel roads and stuff that you see, that was not made by the government. That was made by local construction companies who almost, maybe 2 days later?
Yeah, I was seeing them 2 days.
Yeah, 1 to 2 days later, they were out with their excavators, just putting the road back together.
It's become a lot more humbling, gratifying to lift my own rescuers up and watch them do this larger-than-life tasks and events. Those are the highlights of my career, and this hurricane event really demonstrated that.
Well, with Sentinel Foundation, we're one of the top-level anti-child trafficking organizations in the world, and we're all special operations veterans, and a lot of us are from North Carolina or live in North Carolina out of Fort Bragg. My wife is 6 generations from Silva, and her dad's from 6 generations in Cornelius, so this was personal to all of us. And when we saw the shameful reaction, or lack thereof reaction that happened here, we felt compelled to act, and we just came in day one and started boots on the ground doing whatever we needed to do. While I'm at home, I'm thinking about coming back and what I need to do next. What do we need to do to get ahead of the winter that's coming? Because unfortunately, with the situation that it is right now, that first big snow, when it hits, the power lines are going to go down again. The grid is so fragile right now, and the ground is so saturated, and with all the downed trees, there's so much soil on the top that we're going to have more mudslides. All that's going to happen. Power is going to go back out. The people in tents right now, the elderly, the people with kids, the disabled, the sick, like, they're in a very precarious situation.
And then as they find like items, instead of they used to put like a whole bunch of stuff in there to go out to a community.
Okay.
Now they're dividing it up so that when people want, a sleep bag, they know where to find a sleep bag, that kind of
So they're just organizing.
Yeah. This is, I guess, more the shopping, shopping store type thing.
Do you want me to move pallets or anything? Do you need
No,
me to do
this is
anything?
good.
Okay.
Now it's just kind of walking around.
I could set up empties too. Whatever you need me to do.
Yeah.
Whatever you need me to do. So what do you want me to let them fill them?
No, you can walk around if you see something, walk around there's, we'll just say if there's blankets in that one.
Yeah.
And these are blankets, take all the blankets out and throw them in here.
Gotcha.
And then there's some stuff already out there. If you're walking around, you grab some and you go, oh, I've seen that. And then take it over there where you don't have to put it in this box and then put it over there.
So we're trying to keep everything together.
Correct,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Makes sense.
Yep. Owner of the helicopter, he's a Lions company, owns a linesman company, and he's here down recovery, and I just asked him if I could take it. He said, sure. In the military with 30 years, about 20 and 8 as a pilot, and then since 2009, I had the benefit of being able to fly for Frank Richardson. He's the owner of the helicopters. I think it'll be kind of same thing or different. I guess it kind of hit home when one of the folks that had the cadaver dogs, and he said he only had a hit on a body before I left, and it was kind of made it a little more real. But I think mainly the people, how resilient they are.
In Burnsville, we flew over and landed at a campground that had been completely decimated overnight by Hurricane Helene. And it turns out that a survivor from the hill explained that he could hear screams of the people in the campground by Anna's house being shredded alive. Hundreds of screams. Instantly dead.
So we start to go that direction, and we soon realize the bridge is gone. And it was like in pieces, a big bridge in pieces. I was like, well, maybe we just take this dirt road down and see if we can find another bridge. And so we start going down this road, this dirt road, in this back of this holler in Burnsville, North Carolina. And the devastation is just, it's insane. All the roads are washed away. It's just chaos. And then on this dirt road, we see this lady, and she's crying, and this house is just in shambles. You can see the water line, like how far the water came up. The house, a car had been pushed into the house, and it was just in bad shape. So we pulled over to ask the woman what was going on, and she was Ukrainian, and she explained that her family was gone. And I was like, what do you mean, like, they're gone? Like, where are they? And she was like, they're gone. The storm took them.
What is sad to me is that, they escaped the Kherson in Ukraine, and they went through very hard time to get here. And a lot of people helped them to get here. And it's just sad I couldn't keep them safe here. Kind of like feel that probably my fault.
And so I said, so like, tell me more about your family being gone and what happened. And she says, like, drive around here and I'll show you where their house was. And she drove us back to where there was this like kind of retirement campground area where once there was like mobile homes and trailers and some campers, and everything was just gone. And we were just, it took our breath away. And we were like, where are all the houses? Like, where did everything go? It's just foundations, And so she explained to us that right after the storm, like the Tuesday after the storm, that some FEMA guys showed up with men in camouflage. And the guys in camouflage walked around, and she went to tell them that her family was missing and gone, and they just ignored her. And she was like pleading with them, as she says, and they just didn't seem to care. And they walked around and they started spray painting some things. And then by nightfall, they left. I said, well, listen, like, we're on this mission right now to find this guy. I'm going to go try to find this guy. And then I'm going to come back to you, and we'll start trying to find your family. The stench of death and contaminated water from acid batteries that were floating down the river, cars that were floating down these rivers, propane tanks and gas tanks, all this stuff. So I'm like, yeah, we're going to come back. And so I go back and I brief everybody at the airfield, and we end up getting several search and rescue teams. And they were able to recover several different bodies on the river. 2 bodies belonged to their family. And then the other 2 bodies, I'm not sure whose they were. But we also found several parts to other bodies in the wreckage. Our cadaver dogs were hitting on various numbers of debris fields that we were just
combing through for hours and hours, only to find like a pair of jeans with just a chunk of flesh in it. And so like after talking to her, we just kind of felt best that, you know, let's not push it. And I was like, I'll ask her once if she wants to be on the documentary. She says, no, I'm not going to push it. And so she said no. And we kind of left it at that. And I understand why, because, you know, she'd had to tell the story so many different times and she wasn't really sure like which angle people were going to want to tell her story. And her story is that she lost her family. She doesn't care about conspiracies. She doesn't care about, you know, who's helping and who's not helping. They're not concerned with what politician is doing what. I mean, like their only concern is that their family is gone. And everybody else cared about everything else around that, but nobody actually seemed to have empathy for the family that was just gone.
I do cry every day still, you know, I hate to disappoint you. You're not disappointed.
Just trying to stay positive. Every donation I get, I'm like, woo woo, you know, just stay positive and don't let this beat you down.
We can't do it without God. I can tell you right now, I couldn't do this without having the Lord in my heart and, you know, Jesus Christ guiding and directing me. I couldn't do this. A lot of us couldn't do it.
You want this country to work and be respected around the world, it takes people like that coming together. Yeah.
There's a need around the community, and I'm going to continue doing it because I'm doing God's work. That's all I want to do.
Americans will come help you. They will be here. Americans will be there for you. People have come from all over, man. Like every state I can think of off the top of my head, somebody has come here from there, whether it's with the truckload of stuff they bought out of their own pocket or to help out for a few days.
You know, from here, I couldn't be more proud to call them my firefighters. We will forever be bonded together just through this experience. So I always hope the best for them in their future, and hope that anytime they're faced with a difficult situation or phase in their life, they look back at this and know that anything's possible with your brothers and your sisters by you and your community sticking around you, and just kind of what the epitome of love and community is.
That's the way you help give people some hope and peace, that, you know, there are good people still left in this world and they will help somebody, and they ain't got to be paid for it. You know, sometimes it's you just do the right thing, man. America is supposed to be the land of the free and the home of the brave. And that means you're supposed to help your neighbors when they're down. So you don't leave them down. I wonder how my government can spend millions and billions of dollars on other countries. We'll go bomb a country and then we'll rebuild it and pay for it. Does that make any sense? Mm-hmm. But then we got people up here, got no houses. They're living in tents. They're living in mini barns because somebody was nice enough to donate one or help build one. We should be helping our own people. We shouldn't leave them stranded. Does that make sense? I don't know how else to say it. You don't leave your fellow Americans and leave them in this kind of shape.
The people that you thought you could rely on, we can't rely on anymore. And I hope this is a great example of how communities can come together and help each other and support each other, and that there are people that will show up for you. There are people that swore an oath and that they meant it, and they still live by that oath today. So, and my team and myself being one of those people.
You'd be lonely out here, you know. People caring, people working for free, people doing something without having to earn $1 for it. Oh, can you imagine what this world would be like if people would just help each other without having to earn or have something in return, you know? So that's the greatest thing I see.
I don't think I'll ever be the same after this trip. And I'm already trying to plan a way to come back. And my hope from this documentary is that you guys watching this will find a way to help that community. Or maybe it just challenges you to look at your community differently. I don't know. Just pray for the people of Western North Carolina and keep your family close, man.
We love you, Lord Jesus. Be with these people. And just thank you, Lord. Thank you for their testimony.
Thank you, Lord, for blessing me now, God. I pray, Father, that you would bless them over and over again. I pray that their needs will be met. In Jesus' name.
Just you wait to listen for the storm. Hear the difference in the wind. When dark clouds form and start to turn, I'll run again. Far away when the hurricane comes in. Well, I'm the only island in the way, but I was born to fight the wind and rain. Sometimes a man will keep himself in shame, mask a painful past he overcame. Oh yes, oh. Well, you've been steady, building steam like a thunderhead, armed and ready with the lies you overheard. Well, strike me down like a lightning in the dark, deliver me the fate I must deserve. Oh, don't you? I just wait and listen for the storm. You can hear the difference in the wind. When the dark clouds form and start to turn, I'll run again. Far away when the hurricane comes in. When the dark clouds form and start to turn, I'll run